Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello. Welcome to episode 113 of 15 Minutes of Genius. I am your host, Alex Baer, CEO and founder of Genius Juice, if you could not tell from all the logos and everything going on here. So part of the show is we bring on really great entrepreneurs, bring on visionaries. We bring on people that are reinventing certain spaces, and that's what this individual is doing with the ice cream space. And we'll get into that in a second. But before we do, big plug for Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. There you go. Thumbs up, looking at screens. You ever thought of getting blue blockers, Mark? To help with all the screen action going on? All right, anyway. That's our guy, Mark. Maybe for his birthday, I'll get him blue blockers. I think that'll be the best present ever right there. Save your eyes for another 20 years. All right. So without further ado, let's get to our guest, Lori Joyce. She is the CEO and founder of Better With, which is Better With Ice Cream. A little bit about her. She's determined to build the most important ice cream company. She's an experienced founder with a demonstrated history of working in the food production and retail industry. Skilled in entrepreneurship, marketing, sales, business development, Lori is inherently aware of her strengths with her loyal, magnanimous personality. She will deliver on whichever project she is working on. Lori, how are you?
I'm great. All the pressure with that introduction. I promise to behave in this.
Exactly. Well, you got the kind of Steve Jobs-esque black turtleneck thing going, so I'm expecting really smart things to be said on the show.
Oh, I thought you were going to expect seriousness. This is a disguise. There's no smarts and there's no seriousness. And I promise this will be fun.
Love it. Okay, well, let's make it fun. Let's make it not serious. And that's what the show is all about. It's goofiness, but to a point where at least someone learns something, where they're not just watching, Family Guy for 15 minutes. So let's aim for that. Family Guy, but educational. Okay, ready for that? Let's do this.
All right. I can do that.
Better With. Cool name. Love the name. Where did it come from? What does it mean? And in your intro that I read so eloquently, determined to build the most important ice cream company. What does that mean? Explain that, please.
So my background, after I started my first business, Cupcakes, when I became a mom, for some weird reason, I still can't explain it, because I grew up on a farm and I didn't really appreciate what that farm meant and the farm work and everything like that. But when I became a mom, that circled for me. And I started really paying attention to the choices I was making for my babies, what I was going to feed them, what was in the food, anything revolved around food. And I took the inspiration from my farm and everything that taught me, and I was applying it to these decisions. One day, innocently, when I was buying groceries and I was in the freezer aisle looking for ice cream, I decided, and I should say, the moment in the grocery store as I was picking up these pints and I was reading the ingredient label, honestly, for the first time, I realized that I wasn't buying ice cream. So this was a brand that I grew up eating. It looked like ice cream. It felt like ice cream. It definitely tasted like ice cream, but nowhere on the package was it called ice cream. It was called frozen dessert. Excuse me. And in that moment, I literally said, what the fuck is frozen dessert and why can't it be called ice cream? Coming from the food business already and having this tremendous connection to food because of my upbringing, these pieces literally fell together for me in the frozen aisle. And I was like, I need to produce a ice cream that actually is transparent. It brings the old values of how I was raised on the farm. And that was that, right? Every entrepreneur has that moment of wow, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just seemed so right. And the word better with was literally life is better with ice cream. I think that most people have a connection to ice cream, especially memories of their childhood. those memories are always very positive. They're always celebratory when it comes to ice cream. And so I just, from a marketing perspective, I just thought it was a really clever, super effective, and fun way to come brand that really meant celebratory and involving everything that life is, and being with family and surrounded by good and better food.
So better with, right? So I guess the just so I understand, the branding behind it is life is better with ice cream, authentic ice cream. Okay, got it.
Yes.
What is kind of the hero ingredient? Is there a hero ingredient in the ice cream? What's the base? Is it dairy free? Tell us more.
No, my upbringing on the farm is the big mission once
a lot
I scale.
Of dairy.
Yeah, but it's also going to be, once I scale, single source dairy. So I know there's a lot of talk about food innovation in the space that we're in CPG. For me, what's really important to me is doing things better the way they should have been done in the first place. This is paying homage to my dad, but bringing the farmer to the table, really focusing on how we can work together with the farmer, build sustainable products for our future that result in animal ethics and welfare. These are all decisions we should have been thinking about many, many years ago. Sadly, it led us to where we are today. My ice cream is, on top of it being a full-fat dairy, what's most important is what's not in my ice cream. That's my differentiator. So Better With is made with all the ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. It is clean. There are no gums. The only emulsifier is my egg yolk, and the only preservative is a cane sugar, which, because I use whole, real ingredients, I actually end up with significantly less sugar. So the best example, because Better With isn't available in the US right now, is Better With is comparable to Haagen-Dazs as far as the clean deck, with 15 to 50%, based on the flavor, less sugar than Haagen-Dazs. So considerable difference there, but you still get the same mouth experience, the creaminess, the richness, the indulgence of real traditional ice cream. But I essentially took this old world recipe, which is the lifestyle that I was raised on, this European, very simple, whole, real food philosophy, and I created an ice cream brand around that.
You know, this is going to be an obvious question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is that I know that some of these ice cream brands that are out there, like Ben & Jerry's, and they add all these ingredients to it, I guess maybe to make it taste better, to make it cheaper. It seems like ice cream is so beautiful and incredibly delicious, and it's natural, and it's like most stripped down form, you know, like cream, egg, some cane sugar, you freeze it. Like why can't more brands just be so simple and do what you're doing? I mean, why are they not following this? It's weird to me.
Because the ingredients that I use cost more money, and it's directly related to the margin. So gums are much cheaper to use. They actually do provide some kind of stability. So ironically, because my formula has no gums, it's actually a very unstable product. Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you don't have gums. But the formula is so perfect and it needs to be executed so well. And when you do that, you end up with this amazing product. I think that's actually my IP on that. But when you eat whole and real, you end up being able to eat dairy. So what's resulted in my product is lactose sensitive people have no problem eating my ice cream. My biggest investor owns a media company up here, because Better With is the first ice cream he's been able to enjoy for the last 20 years. So these allergies that we have now and these reactions that we're having to foods, all the result of all the chemicals and the processing that happen in items like gums. And, it was all of those reasons for why I wanted to do this. And, for me, ice cream is beginning with this brand. Better With can turn into everything is better with this. Everything is better with ice cream. Everything is better with this. But the premise and the philosophy comes to creating products that are clean, that are real, that are whole, They end up costing more money for sure. You make a premium product, you understand. But when you create a brand and you create a product that actually makes people feel better, I think the margin should be secondary, right? I don't want to build a business and build it and grow it based on that gross margin. Like companies that, they did that in the past. That was where their focus was. And I think that's why I reached out to you in the beginning, right? I think you and I align on that. We want to produce, you can absolutely produce better products in the CPG space in mass production using cleaner, simpler ingredients.
Exactly.
That turn out to be better for everybody.
Exactly. I mean, speaking my language, right? And that's how we made that, again, like you said, that original connection. But, there's different ways to build businesses. A lot of businesses, a line share of businesses, they create a substandard product at great margins from the beginning. And unless they have gobs of money, even with gobs of money, they can still fail, or an all-star team, or they have all the connections in the world, it may become successful. But I believe in the business model and strategy where you start out with a great holistic product that has real food, real ingredients. It tastes good at the same time, but it's also incredibly nutritious and macronutrient dense. And your margins may not be great to start, but because the product is so damn good, people are going to buy it over and over and over again. And you get so many raving fans that you eventually do scale larger and larger, which you're on your way to doing, right? You're scaling because of the quality of your product, and eventually your margins will become stronger and stronger because of volume. And I vibe with you, like our branding is that, it's genius because there's no dumb stuff. That's our branding, which is a very similar vein to Better With, but there's also things that it's without. There's without gums, without this. And we don't need gums either, because we use the coconut meat, which acts as a natural fat and emulsifier in the drink. So, and then you're using, the yolk and other natural ingredients that cost more, but they naturally emulsify the ice cream, and you get that great experience without adding all the junk to it. I love that.
There's so many ways and there's so many solutions to that if you're not focused on just the bottom line. And as far as, of course, you and I, that's the goal, right, is to scale. But you can save money in other ways. My head office for my company is on my farm. And we can grow because we use co-packers. We can grow to a significantly large size by being that efficient on the property, like as far as not spending that kind of money. And I think that in the market that we're in today and the times that we're in today, and the pandemic has absolutely accelerated this. We have to, if we're going to continue to feed our families, we have to make change, and the change is now. And it's not just coming from customers, it's coming from what's happening, in the world around us. I mean, we have to be more resourceful locally. Supply chain is a major issue. Supply chain doesn't have to be a major issue if we were just building products that were available within our own communities. Right? This is a lesson. Like, why is Ben and Jerry's having supply chain issues with cargo ships that are coming from China? What does that mean? What are you putting in your product that's coming from China? Mm-hmm. That wasn't a positive news story. Everything. So I'm Canadian. My company is Canadian. Every single ingredient that I put in my product, I can source here in Canada. My packaging is made in Canada. My dairy, my cows are Canadian. And when I expand into the States, I'll be able to replicate that model and have everything come from the U.S. market. Mm-hmm. Right? There's a lot more cows. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot more cows in the U.S. And so when I heard that news, immediately being in the ice cream business, I was like, what ingredients can't they get that's coming from Asia? This whole pandemic, the whole narrative is supporting local. Well, you can't get farther away from local than not being able to supply your local grocery stores because your stuff is in a cargo ship in the middle of the Pacific, right?
Yep, exactly right.
That just did not make any sense. So to bootstrap my company, I actually moved back home to the family farm. And I could have, I could have said that was shameful. I'm in my mid 40s and I'm moving back in with my parents. And what's ended up happening, this started a year before the pandemic. What's ended up happening is that I am now stranded on a 6-acre farm with an almanac. My father he comes from European generation of probably, I don't know how many farmers, generations of that. And so I'm in the food business and I'm stranded on an organic farm with my parents who are literally teaching me everything about why this pandemic is happening. It was my dad that said immediately, this COVID thing, Lori, is going to be here for the rest of your life. So you need to learn how to adapt to this situation. This isn't going to go away. We're going to get vaccinated and we're going to try to control it, but it's going to be here. So what's really important is being resourceful, and really appreciating what we can grow and how we can continue to survive and feed our family. And so I really felt that I was in the food business at the right time. And, the educational component of, educating our customers as to why better food is important and why we need to make better food, is something that consumers are going to be looking for. And I feel for you and I, Alex, we're in the right business at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's definitely a movement for better ingredients. I keep on thinking the Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John. But no, in all seriousness, you're pushing forth with a movement of a better ice cream, better ingredients, doing it the right way. It might take longer. The margins are not as good to start, but eventually great products win. And what's exciting is that we're seeing acquisitions now that are not always just junk products. And the one that really was inspiring to me that just got acquired was Hue, the chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. Just got acquired. Mm-hmm. Probably arguably the best chocolate bar on the market, in my opinion. It's like organic stone ground cacao. These fucking bars are $6. They're $6 a bar at Whole Foods. But the quality is amazing, and they were able to build millions in revenue because there's nothing else like it. It's not, an XOXO bar. It's not a Lily's bar that has stevia in it. It has real ingredients with real organic cane sugar or coconut sugar. So I'm a big believer, just like you. Let's keep on fighting the good fight, right? We are running out of time, so let's get into our next segment here, which is called Rapid Fire Questions. Rapid Fire Questions. All right. So I think you while you're waiting on deck,
it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's literally it's like a Japanese game show. That's what it looks like. All right, so we're going to go through a bunch of questions.
As long as it's not Squid Game, I'm good.
Yeah, I heard about that. My wife had nightmares after watching it. So when she said that to me, I'm like, I think I'm good. I'm not going to watch it. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. My dad said you have to watch it. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not going to.
No.
All right. So here we go. Questions. First thing to your mind, pops in your mind, you can answer. Here we go. For music, which decade is the best, the 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh, absolutely the 90s. I graduated in 91, hands down. George Michael, Freedom.
Yep.
Every day.
Nirvana good. Metallica, Pearl Jam.
Even the hardcore rap that was coming out at that time, right?
Was
I
great.
don't think there was any bad music that came out of the 90s.
Not at all.
It was the beginning of, anyways, rapid fire.
It was the beginning. It was the beginning of the end for music. After the 90s, it all went downhill. All right. So what do you do for exercise?
Is this only one thing I can say? Because I got a long list.
Let's go for top 3.
Okay. Running, spinning, and treadmills, like a stair climber.
Love it. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Oh, there are so many. Don't judge me. Pretty Woman.
It's a great one. Yeah, Richard Gere.
Any Godfather.
Okay, you're about to say Goodfellas. That's why I heard good. Don't forget your fucking shine box. I love that part. All right. One of our guests, like, his favorite movie was Goodfellas, and like, get your shine box. We said it like 10 times on the episode. It was funny. I guess you haven't heard, it's been a while, but you haven't been around here for a while, but I'm a lot bigger than you think now. I think like whatever, Joe Pesci said that. All right, anyway. Okay, so Goodfellas, Godfather. What are some other gangster movies that you like? I'm trying thinking of others.
Casino. Amazing.
Great movie. Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Anything that Robert De Niro did, honestly. And then, of course, I can watch Sopranos all day and night as well.
I've never really shared one of my favorite movies, but one that I can watch literally an unlimited amount of times is Heat. Like that.
Oh, I've never seen that.
I'm so jealous you haven't seen it. It has Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's a great, it's like it's almost 3 hours long, but it's an amazing movie. There's like a bank heist scene in the middle of downtown LA. And there's a shootout, and it seems so real, the way they do it. Great movie. You got to watch it. All right, chocolate or vanilla?
Oh, chocolate.
Favorite country to travel to? Oh, do you have a story? Or
my story is I selfishly made my cream flavor in my ice cream line because I don't like vanilla. I don't like vanilla anything.
Chocolate it is.
Anyways,
favorite country
my
to travel
favorite country to travel to, Croatia. That's my background.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Mm-hmm. Favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to answer that. No, I don't have any. I've literally never seen a Star Wars. Nothing.
Star Wars movie you must watch. All right, next. What is your spirit animal?
Oh, eagle.
That's mine too.
So, is it?
Yeah, well, especially the bald eagle, because I'm bald. Or balding.
We, on the farm, we always have this eagle family that keeps its nest and comes around. And because of the chickens, of course, I just admire watching them. They're just so gracious.
Definitely. Huge wingspan. They just kind of float in the air. Super smart. They can see, like eagle eye. They can see things from like 1,000 yards away, like on the ground, move. And they're predators, and they're hunters, and they are ambitious. Let's say that.
Yeah.
All right. So do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
Coupe all the way.
For food.
As low to the ground as possible.
Yeah. Especially when there's snow, right? Is a coupe better than a truck in the snow? I don't know, because you're in Canada. All right. For food, salty or sweet?
Salty for my actual guilty pleasure, for sure. Savory, salty.
Favorite day of the week and why?
Oh, that varies. I think right now it would be Monday. I love planning. I love jumpstarting the week, and I get really excited about conquering. And I'm very disciplined. I'm very focused in what I'm doing. And so I feel that Monday is the beginning of everything.
Love that. Uber or Lyft?
I would have to say there is no Uber or Lyft here.
So I think that's an easy answer.
I've only taken Uber when I've been in the States. I've never been in a Lyft car.
Got it. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe?
Oh, God. Can I say Steve Nash?
Yep, because he's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's kick-ass. He's actually my inspiration as to why I believe I can do this.
Absolutely. I mean, he has the highest...
Can I have a quick story?
Sure. I just want to mention highest free throw percentage, I think, of any basketball player, right, ever. Go ahead.
So Steve Nash and I are roughly the same age, and we both grew up in Victoria. And in 1993, I was at a high school party, and he was there. He was skinny. He was ugly. He was by himself at this party, and all he had was his basketball. And I didn't go to this high school, so I didn't know him. And I was like, what's up with the guy in the corner with the basketball? And in unison, everybody was like, oh, that's Steve Nash. He thinks he's going to make it to the NBA. Mm-hmm. And that was in 1993. Mm-hmm. And everyone, keep in mind, I'm in Canada. Victoria is a super small town. A lot of people just thought it was funny. And I was just so impressed by his comfort with being at a party, a house party, putting all of his attention on this basketball. That was his date. The basketball was his date.
Wow.
And from that moment on, I always looked for him at these house parties, and he always had a basketball. And I have come up to him recently. Of course, we have a lot of mutual friends, and I've just been like, Steve, you're totally who I look up to in that, because I'm currently going up against the biggest ice cream companies, which happen to be the biggest companies in the world, right? Unilever, Breyers, Nestle. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and because you did it, it really makes me feel like I can do this too.
Absolutely. You can. You can definitely do it. Eye of the tiger, eye of the eagle. Keep pushing hard. Great brands, great products will prevail. You should also get maybe Steve Nash can be an investor and ambassador. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud here. Have you reached out to him?
No, I haven't, but I really admired his incredible dedication, not only to the sport, but just to himself and the loyalty and the hard work. And, observing that from the sidelines, I think it's a really important lesson for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great story. Thank you for sharing. All right. So Terminator, it's totally switching gears. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2, I don't know if you are
definitely
Terminator fans.
Terminator 1. Terminator 1 was awesome. That was a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Love that movie.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm Terminator 2 because I'm just a sucker for like just the action and the, twisted metal and crashes and special effects. So it was a huge production. But the story of the Terminator, the story of the war, the acting, it was a kind of a slower pace. I thought Terminator 1 overall was a better story movie to really build the franchise. So, and first of its kind, right? First of its kind. All right. So,
that's why it leaves me with the biggest impression is it was the first of its kind. I thought it was a really well done movie at the time. And it's still relevant today, right?
Absolutely.
That's how good it is. It still is entertaining. Yeah, loved it.
Every time I drive by Griffith Park, and I forget what I think Arnold Schwarzenegger says in the first one, like, good night for a walk or something like that. Then he kills the guy. He's like trying to imitate a human being. Good night for a walk. Then he like stabs him or punches him. Anyway, yeah, I just went to Griffith Park over the weekend, so I'm like, that's where Arnold killed the guy right there. All right, favorite food or drink? If you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say better with. You cannot say Genius Juice.
Favorite food or drink? Coffee, but a really good roasted cappuccino.
There you go.
And food is going to be a hamburger.
Cool.
I'm a sucker for a really good cheeseburger.
Got to try In-N-Out down here if you haven't. It's
Are
amazing.
you kidding? It's
You've had it, right?
the best.
There you go.
Every time. LA, by the one off the LA, like at LAX. It's
LAX.
Absolutely, it's the
super
best.
Super popular. Yeah, I'm a vegetarian,
Yeah,
but I've heard it's good. So, all right.
Oh, Alex, it's delicious.
Yeah, I had it in high school, like way back before I became a vegetarian. But I would say probably the best burger and fries back in those days when I had burgers and fries out of any other fast food restaurant. Amazing, and they treat their workers right. They pay them fair wages. They give them benefits. Great company. So anyway, we're out of time.
Do they not do a veggie platter? Sorry, do they not do a veggie platter?
Yeah, I haven't looked, but I don't see it on their menu when I go.
Wow,
like when I take my wife
really
there or whatever.
surprising.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Wow, that would be really surprising.
So that is rapid fire questions with Lori Joyce. She is the CEO and founder. There's the claps. Better with. Waiting for that. It was a delayed clap mark. There you go. All right, so episode 113 in the books. Lori, thank you for joining us. Great hearing your stories between your ice cream, Steve Nash, burgers and fries, all these great things. Pleasure talking with you. And thank you for the introduction. Shout out to James Richardson, Ramping Your Brand. Great book by James Richardson, which I'm reading right now. So, yeah, Lori, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night, all right?
Thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate the invitation. This was fun. And best of luck. I can't wait to try Genius.
Exactly. Likewise to you. Better with. Can't wait till we break into. We got to break into Canada. You need to break into the States. So we have to make that happen. So, all right. So that is episode 113, 15 Minutes of Genius. Big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. There's his phone number there. I can't read it from here, but you probably can. All right. So that is it. One last thing. Stay chilled with ice cream and genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.